It was somewhere around mid-90s, some routine day, midday when I was home just by myself. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old at that time. I can't remember precisely because I was so young that I hadn't realized the seriousness of the situation until many years later. My older siblings did already start to attend school, and my parents used to sometimes leave me alone, locking me inside the house. They know I was kind of a responsible kid, so they just told me not to open the door to anyone. They and my siblings have the keys, so I shouldn't be bothered. At that time, we lived in a flat, in a 5-story block. I'm from Europe. It wasn't too long, so I just happened to cross the hallway where the front door was located every couple of minutes, just by going between the kitchen, bathroom, and so forth. At some point, I noticed that the front door handle is lowering down. I thought that I'm seeing things, but I saw it again. It wasn't a joke. Someone tried to get in. I knew the door is locked, but I was concerned, so I took some stool from the kitchen to look through the peephole. At my age, I was way too short to access the peephole without some stand. The view I saw completely frightened my young eyes. There was a strange man, just putting the key into the lock. He might be like 30 or 35 years old and had a baseball cap on. We had 2 locks, one at a height of 3.5 feet and the second at a height of 5 feet, but the lower one was used mainly when we were leaving the house for longer. The upper one, so the only one locked at that moment, has a manual grip from the inside to close or open the door, often without too much hassle. But there was no possibility to put the key from the inside to prevent from inserting the second one from the outside. I suppose he must have some lockpick. He put it into our upper lock and gently turned the key once. To open it, you have to turn it twice. I didn't want him to detect that I'm trying to grapple with him, so only after his first turn of the key, I swiftly took it back to the previous position. He repeated the move 2 or 3 times. So did I. After a while, he got confused and pulled out. I was saved by the fact that he was trying to open the door very skillfully. If he had done 2 consecutive, confident turns, just like everyone else opening their doors, I would have had no chance to hold that grip still, because my hands were way too weak back then. Instead, he made 1 turn and waited a couple of seconds before resuming. Probably he didn't want to make any turmoil. That's why he was turning the key gently. Or maybe he was aware that I'm inside and wanted to have me unprepared. I remember that my parents didn't even believe my story. They thought it's just normal for such a small kid to fabulate. So after a while, I started to believe it was some nightmare and maybe it didn't happen. I was so young that I didn't even really register the situation and forgot about it soon. It wasn't until a few years later that I connected the dots and realized how lucky a bastard I was back then. So this happened a couple of years ago when I was 13 and my brother was 11. My parents had to go out and thought it was a better idea to leave me and my brother home alone. But that's what they did. They left, taking my little 6-year-old sister with them. I and my brother were down in our basement, which is where we had our video game set up. So the 2 of us were just downstairs playing Mario Kart on our Wii. We had the home phone in between us, just in case one of our parents called. About an hour goes by, and the phone starts to ring. We look down at the ID caller. It was our uncle. We decided to let it ring, and how our phone worked, it would ring about 5 times, then stop. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3. The phone stops ringing. My brother doesn't pay attention to it, but I did. I realized that the only reason for it to stop that early, if someone picked it up and we were home alone. I get suspicious and paranoia gets the better of me, and I take my brother and we go upstairs to see that the phone is still there, but there is still a phone on the 3rd floor in my parents' room. So we go towards the stairs, and what we saw chilled us to the bone. A man, his late 40s, early 50s is all I can tell you, because the second we saw him, me and my brother screamed, running out to the front door, and went straight to our neighbor's house. We tell them what we saw. They proceeded to call the police, then our parents. They came fast, and I don't know what was wrong with the man, but he never left the house. He just stood there, and the police arrested him. For what I heard, he was placed in a mental hospital, but that's just what I heard. This story may not be crazy compared to others, but I just think what could have happened to me and my brother if my uncle didn't decide to call. I am a female and was 19 years old when this took place. It wasn't overly late, probably about 8 p.m., but it was winter, so it was already dark. I was walking home from visiting a friend, and about 20 minutes from my home. It was quiet, and I had my headphones in, just listening to music so I didn't hear this guy approach from behind me. All of a sudden, this cyclist has slammed his brakes on directly beside me and is staring at me. I took my headphones out and glanced at him, but he didn't speak, just stared. I kept walking. I'm pretty close to home now, so I wasn't too worried. This guy started cycling again, slowly now, matching my walking speed. I keep my eyes forward and ignored him, fully aware he's still looking at me. To get to my flat, I had to walk down this really quiet, dark country lane, and although it wasn't very long, it wasn't really an ideal place to be with this guy. So I stopped and glanced down on my phone, hoping he'd kept going. He did, for a short while, but then he stopped and turned to watch me. There was no way I was walking down that line with this guy there. So I crossed the street and went down another road, a well-lit one with lots of houses, hoping it would be safer. That's when he said something that chilled me to the core. "Where are you going? You don't live that way." "I know where you live." I wanted to be sick. He could have been bluffing, but that way he said it, I believed him. I was terrified. I dialed my partner's number and kept walking, aware of this guy following me even now. When my partner answered, I quietly asked him to come and get me. When I heard the guy go, "Oh fuck," he cycled off ahead of me. I don't know what startled him so much. I guess it was because that he thought I was calling the police. But he took off, and I am forever grateful. He did. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening and hope you enjoyed the stories. If so, please subscribe to our channel. It'd be an amazing support to help us share more spooky videos in the future. Also, if you have any scary experience you'd like to share, please send us your story on the email in the description below. So until then, have a wicked day.